So again, 625 is not technically due today. It's due tomorrow, so if it's not done, that's okay, but you should have tried to put some time into it already, because it is a longer homework. So if you haven't put any time into it, you need to. Are there any questions that you feel like we need to go over, because you have a different answer than what is up there? Wait, John.
Oh, never mind.
Is it one of the 105 and like how it's phrased?
I used N as the variable instead of
Oh, totally fine. Yep, you can do that. This is probably recycling. Other questions? Guys, this homework is a pretty good indicator of would you be prepared for like a mastery over this stuff. And that's why I'm trying to do masteries more frequently. We might do another mini mastery on Friday, but I doubt it because we're coming up to the end of the chapter. So I'll show you guys my plan book here in a second if you want. Remember, we're not trying to copy stuff down unless a couple people ask me like, well, can I just make little notes of the answers so then after I solve it, I can check it again? Guys, I'm recording this. If you want to come back and check this again, just go find the video from today and you can check your answers again on your own, which is also why if no one has questions, we're going to move on and start class because you guys want to solve stuff for the class. So there's all of the answers, right? Most of us haven't done this whole thing yet, so let's take more questions tomorrow because it's not due today. I mean, Mia, I'm happy to solve a problem.
114.
In 114, they're asking us, Walter walked 15.5 blocks. Here's where it gets tricky. We got to convert 35 minutes into hours because they're asking us rate in blocks per hour. So how many minutes are there in an hour? 60. So to convert 35 minutes into hours, we're first going to take that and say it's 35 over 60. Figure out that value. Then do 15.5 divided by that. Or honestly, what you could type in your calculator is 15.5 divided by 35 over 60. But you got to make sure that you put those parentheses to group this together. But you could even just type that in your calculator. It's the per hour that probably goofed with you.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, let's take more questions. Vincent?
For the 114, can't you also turn the 35 minutes into 1 minute and then multiply that by 60?
Yeah, you could. You could use proportional reasoning to get there. Yeah, absolutely. Another application of like the Meineke method, right? Of break it down, then build it up.
And then that takes up to 27, right?
You guys keep like string betting right when we're about to move on. 5, 7. Yeah, that is probably 4/7. Yeah, that's probably the rounded version of it. Because 5, 7 is part of the set of division by 7. All right, so today, and we'll go over this again tomorrow, right? I've got all the homework right there. I just like using my document camera. But I've got 2 versions of A up here, 2 versions of B, 2 versions of C, 2 versions of D, 2 versions of E. We can always clone pages if we need. But we are going to random card to see the order of groups, and you don't have to share, but you do have to show me your work from yesterday. So I'm going to be walking around the room checking people's stuff while other people are sharing. If you come up to share, you have 5 minutes to teach your problem. Okay, we're just trying to keep it fair and make sure that we can get to everybody.
Are we going to write down what that is?
Yeah, so have out graph paper. I like how John reads my mind, although it kind of creeps me out. Have out graph paper to solve their problems. Now, if you already solved it yesterday, you do not have to solve it again. Right? If you already solved it yesterday. All right, so the first group who has a chance to share if they want to. This is the wrong class.
Alright. Who is this class?
Very anticlimactic right there.
Can we turn in the 65?
If it's done and if you just checked it, sure. Make sure that you just checked it because, guys, I'm starting to check your homework with the answer key pulled up just so it's quicker for me. Normally I'm looking at is your work correct, but now I'm really checking did you get to the right answer because we're at that point in the year. Do you guys realize we only have 23 days of class left before the state tests, which I don't personally care about, but that's like a checkpoint, right? It's kind of like it's sort of like a finish line. And then we're going to keep doing class stuff, but we might start skipping some lessons here and there to make sure we hit the really important stuff. So chapter 6 is probably the last chapter that we're going to do every single lesson in order. I'm probably going to start to jump around a little bit to try to make sure we get everything done. Mia's group, would you like to share? I mean, anybody, you don't all have to share, so if anybody from your group wants to share, they have the opportunity. Otherwise, it is okay if you do not want to. Question.
Are you saying B4 or B4?
I am confused by your question.
Are you saying B-E-F-O-R-E or B4, the letter B and then the number 4?
Well, what would the letter B and the number 4 be? Like, why would I be saying that?
I don't know.
If we were playing bingo, maybe?
See, now, I'm not the one who asked the question.
All right, so Mia's group, you're good on it? Would you like to, Kylie? No pressure, but yeah, absolutely. You can also show your paper if you'd rather just show your paper instead of like teaching it on the board. But which problem was your guys's? What did it have to deal with? Do you remember? Was it A? With Hong Kong and the International Finance Center and Sweet. So if you want me to put that under the dot cam, like you're highlighting and stuff, I can. Or you can do it up here. Like you can tap the highlighter. Hey, reminder, because I only want to do this once, and Kylie is not being timed yet. Because at 5 minutes, I'm going to cut her off however far we are. Up here is how you get to the pens. When you click the pen menu, you can get to the highlighter or calligraphy. Calligraphy is how my handwriting kind of looks fancy up here. So if you want to highlight, then you just pick your colors. Okay, you can pick any color for highlighter, but a lot of them are too dark. So that's why these are the 4 main colors. But as you come up, like, you know, you want to do what you did to solve it. So, Miss Kylie, the floor is yours. Would you like the cards, or are you just going to kind of teach it here? I'll leave these here in case you want it, but you're probably just going to teach it to people.
Okay, so the first thing I did was come and do this, and so first thing I did was get that it's 88 stories tall.
So what did you write down? Or you can highlight first or whatever, but make sure that you tell them what to write down, what to do.
So first I highlighted, and then after that I came, and then the former Sears Tower in Chicago is 8 stories taller than the Empire State Building.
It's now called the Willis Tower because somebody else bought it.
And then if all the buildings were stacked on top of each other, the combined would have been 300. So then from that, I came down to 50. So I remembered that H.
Ooh,
Oh.
I don't even know. I think your sleeves are tapping the screen a little bit, so just be aware.
Oh, super. I put that H.
So eraser, this is different than when we first started using these boards. Since I use the Smart software, you have to actually tap the eraser, but then you can circle. Yeah, you can circle and then just make it all disappear. Here, you can also write in white. I think it looks sweet because then it looks like it's disappearing. And if you want to use a pen.
That would be helpful. So I did I equals 88.
So if you did not do this problem, you should be writing down I equals 88.
For international. Then F for the Sears building equals E plus 8.
Let me do this real quick. Your writing will look nicer if it's a bit smaller.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
E plus 8, S equals E plus 8.
And then E equals E. So then from there, we know that. Sorry, take this here for a second. Then 2, so that means 2E plus 88 plus 8 equals 300.
Now, is it just... Oh, I see, because the one didn't have an E. So hold on, step to the side for a second. Do we all understand how Kylie got to 2E plus 88 plus 8? It's everything she had written over there on the left. She's adding all 3 buildings up. Questions for Kylie? You're doing fantastic. Keep going.
which then becomes 2e plus 96
Sure, we're writing down this work if we didn't do it
equals
already.
300, which then becomes, so then I did 300 minus 39, 69, 96,
Your brain is just putting those numbers together.
102. That will be 102 for me. There. And then I divided that by 2, I think.
Yep.
And then that equaled, yeah, 51.
I should open my binder.
Look at your 102, Kylie. Your number's wrong.
I think it's
Kylie goes 204, and then you divide by 2.
204.
So E equals 102.
Yeah.
here. Hold up.
So yeah.
So can I jump in and help?
Yeah.
Everything-
What's wrong here?
Everything Kylie said is absolutely correct. It's how she wrote it down that made her fall in a trapdoor. Like she walked herself right into a trapdoor. And that's on purpose. We planned this out. Good job, Kylie. So, what my work would have looked like is here's where I change colors, right? So you can keep going, but here's where I show, let's do it on both sides. So do minus 96 on both sides. OBS, right? Or TBS? Or what? TAS, to all sides.
DS.
Minus 96.
So now, and actually, so guys, this is working really well to help like brainwash you around what I'm trying to get you to believe of write your workout. Now what Kylie still has is 2e on the left side equal to 204 on the right side. Eve, you with us? You look like you're dozing.
So then that becomes 52.
204. Right, so that should be
204.
204.
Oh my gosh. I am just not in the right headspace.
Well,
today.
up at the board, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Right? And for some reason, we choose to do this on the daily. And now, what would she write to all sides? Or what would she do to all sides?
Take away 1, take away
Divide
E.
by 2.
Divide by 2. That's you already had told us to divide by 2. Yes. And that's how she gets to E equals 102.
Yeah.
Very nice work. Good job, Kylie. Round of applause for Kylie. Woo! Making your debut teaching in middle school. I don't know if you've taught middle school before or not. Eve's group. Anyone from your group want to share, or all of you? Sure. Yeah, what one did you guys do? B? But yeah, B hasn't been done yet, so might as well do that one. Sweet. All right, so come on up. You got 5 minutes.
Okay, so, basically, I wrote down some stuff. So, I'm just gonna make these bullet points of that. How do I do this again? Oh, okay. Okay, so I highlighted my second grade teacher, Mr. Carter, always told me to highlight anything that has numbers in it because it might be important.
Huh.
Unless if it isn't.
Unless it isn't.
Yes, it isn't.
We'll forgive that the Mackinac Bridge is in Michigan. That's okay. Yeah, I'm saying it wrong, aren't I? It's the C is like silent. Mackinac.
It was cool. It was busy. There were sports characters. I got to go on sports.
Nice. So, Layla, click calligraphy. It looks fancier. So the second pen down, that calligraphic. Yeah. Then, my advice. Yo, friends, I want to say this less times than I could say it. If you are writing in a really fat marker, it's not going to look nice. So I would pick your color and then pick a smaller size of marker, one of the top 3.
Okay, so I wrote down M equals, that's really small.
Right, so you could click the second one down. If you did not do B, you should be writing down M equals.
Okay, so oh, my paper is big. So M equals Okay.
It's your paper. It's your paper. Your paper keeps touching the board.
Okay, so that equals 1158, and then H, equals 97 plus.
So their group used the locations to determine their variables. So they used Michigan, Hong Kong. What's their third variable?
Okay.
You're good. You can keep going.
Okay,
I was just making them realize why you used H for the Sigma bridge.
And then G, is, G.
But then you kind of switched and you used Golden Gate, which is fine. Totally fine. But that's where they picked their variables. Michigan, Hong Kong, but then Golden Gate.
Yes. So, and then we combine, like,
G equals G. It's a G thing.
and then, we combine like terms. So that would be,
How many G's you got?
2.
So, I always do variables first.
Me too. So that would be 2G.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I made you skip the writing the equal stuff. Sorry, my phone keeps
Oh,
going off and it's
right,
distracting me. I'm not going to check it because it's your timer.
Okay.
300.
Oh, wait,
That's
wrong
from
problem.
A. That's from A. You tap the eraser. Boom. Now erase. Then tap the pen. You're going to be a great teacher later.
I'm gonna be, this is,
So now it's back to what you had. So,
so,
38,
and
15.
then that, that equals that. And then, all of that together would be 1255.
So calculator, right? You guys are pretty much always going to have a calculator, except for the first day of the state test, which those problems are manageable.
So that equals, oh wait, no.
You can scribble if you want.
Okay, so.
So,
and then-
guys, on the right side is 3,815. If you're writing this down with Layla, 3,815.
And then you subtract this to get rid of it, because algebra.
It would look so much better if you would write it in red. It's okay.
Okay. So,
To both sides, or on both sides, or to all sides, whatever you want to say.
okay, so, and then
I'll scroll for you.
would,
You do want to change your color, probably.
black. So, and then 2G would equal, okay, so that would equal, 2560, I think, right?
Sure, I mean,
Yep,
check
okay.
You're fine to keep going.
Okay,
That's 5 minutes, but we're probably okay.
so,
So hold on, write down the rest of your number right there. Just be careful not to write down a partial number. You said that was 2560?
yeah, I was about to, just, that equals, so, that equals 2560. You divide that by 2, and then that equals 1250. Can you scroll down?
1280, I think. Double check
Oh,
your
yeah, it's
handwriting.
1280.
I think it's 1280.
So G equals, so 1x, wow, equals 12, it will not.
Her
X.
brain defaulted back to X, but yeah, we're talking about G there, right?
And then you do the rest, because, yeah. So M equals,
What's the S word that we use in math when we're plugging stuff back in?
silly, stupid.
No. Substitute. Layla is substituting to find her other values.
And then H, if you do the math of that.
If you do the math.
I did not. 1377, and then G. Can you scroll down? G equals so. Yep. So.
All right, wonderful. Round of applause for Layla. Very nice work. Let's keep this train rolling to make sure we get to one of them. Groups that solved C and or D. Any volunteers that want to come up? Of course, John. You can bring up anybody from your group that wants to come up with you. But let's go ahead and talk through C, do our highlighting, do our expressions. Or D. We can do D. There we go.
Okay. So.
All right, I'll start your 5-minute time. You can glance over here if you want to check on your time. This is what teachers have to do every day, is try to figure out how do I teach what I need to in a certain amount of time.
Okay, most states in the United States are divided into countries. Some countries are very large, while some are very small. That is unneeded information. Different states are also unneeded. Pennsylvania has 5 less than twice as many counties as Oregon.
If
Florida
you didn't do D, you should be writing this down. Well, once he starts writing stuff down.
has 1 less county than Pennsylvania. Together, the 3 states have 169 counties. So, okay, so what we're going to write down okay, so, oh wait. Drop the pen. I'm struggling over here. Okay, so we're gonna put P for Pennsylvania equals 2D. Oh wait, we should probably do the. Okay. Pennsylvania is 2D minus 5 because it says Pennsylvania has 5 less than twice as many counties as Oregon. So we chose D for Oregon because it would look like a 0. We chose D for the football team, Ducks. Anyway.
So I told a couple teams to avoid variables that are going to confuse you. O's and S's can easily confuse us. So I'm going to say it again because some of you are spaced out. Oregon is the Oregon Ducks. So they use D for the Ducks, for Oregon. Oregon Ducks. Quack.
F equals F because Florida is never said to what it is.
No one knows what Florida is.
Oh wait, no, it's not. Yeah, I know. I messed up. Florida, yeah. So Florida is also 2D, but since it's 1 less than Pennsylvania, it's minus 6. And then for D is just D. Because D.
So hold up. We got to make sure everyone sees why you did that. So guys, let me steer for a second.
Okay.
Pennsylvania. They tell us 5 less than twice as many as Oregon. So they did 2 times D minus 5 for what Pennsylvania equals. Then what they actually slipped in here without telling you is that Florida is Florida is Pennsylvania minus 1. But instead of using Pennsylvania, they plug in what they know Pennsylvania is. So that's how they got to 2D minus 6. They plugged in 2D minus 5, took 1 more away from it. And then Oregon, right, because we haven't written down anything about Oregon, what are we going to put Oregon's equal to? Itself, right?
Yeah, so we're going to put D. Oh my god.
Sometimes it just gets like glitched out. Hold up. Put back in here.
I got it.
Put back in here. Cat, you should be good now.
Okay, so D equals D. Now, since now we're going to combine like terms, so we have 4D up here and 5D. So we have 5D minus negative, or plus negative 11.
So from all 3 counties, they had 5 D's total and a negative 11 total.
Okay.
And the total is 169.
Now, since this is a negative, we are going to add. So we're going to add 11 to make it 0. So then we have 5D. What is that?
Do we just add 11 on the left-hand side?
No, I'm trying to do something. And then you add 11 over here to 169, which is 180. So 5D equals 180. So since we still have 5D, we are going to divide by 5 on each side, which will give us 1D equals 36. Okay. Equals 36. So since we know that D equals 36, and since P is D times 2, which is 36, 36 plus 36, which is 72, and then it's minus 5. So 72 minus 5 is 67, right? Oh wait, that's D. I bet. P equals 67, and then Florida is 1 less than. Oh.
So guys, this is why we give you big pieces of paper instead of really small ones, because right now they're using stuff you can't see anymore.
And then Florida is.
Hold on, I'm scrolling up for a second. So this, they're going back to here. This is what they're plugging D into, and they know D is 36. So they already did P was 36 minus 5, or sorry, 72 minus 5. Now for F, what are you doing there?
It's 72 minus 6, which is just 1 less than Pennsylvania, because that's what it said up there, which means you have 66. That's the easy way to do it if you're really going to do the subtraction from 72. You do it. Okay.
Sweet. Thank you so much. Who did C?
We
Did
also-
anyone do C that would like to come up and share it?
We were also the only ones that did C.
Ooh, no, Farah's group did C. Do you want to come share it?
Oh.
You guys did E as well, didn't you? All right, I'm going to help you out a little bit because we're starting to run out of time. So I'm going to do your highlighting while you're walking up here. This is the one that you have work written down for, right?
That's the one that we have.
Farah, is this, you did this one with the mountains? Just double checking. All right, jump on in there if you want. So you'll need to switch your pen once you step up there. You have to tap it at the board. I can't really click it from here.
So I did the 5D process because I find it easier.
Now, actually, I'm curious if you really did. Why are you broken?
Oh, wait, why do I have one of the small board pens?
Yeah, and like it worked for you, but I'm really trying to encourage doing the algebra like you did down here. I might jump in and do this.
I can do it.
Fine. Stealing my job. Just if nobody else wants to show C. Oh, you guys, earlier you were all quiet. What? Do you want to show it? I can't decide for you. You want to show it? John, sit down. Somebody else is going to volunteer. Nope, how about you and A? Team up, take your work up with you.
Oh, my little best friend. Hey. Hi.
So, I love that Farah was really cool about this because she has the right answers. But at this point, I'm trying to convince you that algebra is better than the 5D process. So, like, that's what she did is right, and it works. But algebra is more efficient. It's like a little bit cleaner. So that's why I'm trying to get you guys to do that process. Okay. So
what I did here is that I found that Delaware is 106 feet higher than high elevation for Florida, so that means the equals.
So I'm going to scroll the page a tiny bit, and we should have talked about this before they dove in. All those numbers at the top, the 282, the 20,000, whatever, are those needed? No, that's what we call distractors, guys. Those are numbers you don't need for this question. So I'm going to scroll down so we can just focus on what we're talking about, and they have a bit more space.
And we also find out that Louisiana highest elevation is 190 higher than Florida's highest elevation. So that means
Louisiana.
oh, there it is. I'm looking at the other one. L equals 7 minutes away. 1 equals 190 plus F. And Florida is Florida.
Florida is just Florida.
That's what we were gonna put,
But what?
but.
But you agree with them, I think?
Did I leave my pencil?
Maybe.
Oh, maybe on the pen.
And all together.
Oh, okay. Why did I do that?
So our last couple groups have been skipping over the writing out what we're putting together, and that's okay if it makes sense in your head. At this point, however Katie and Aiden do it, they're adding up Delaware, Louisiana, and Florida. They're putting all of those things together. If you didn't do this, you should be. If I haven't said this out loud, one of these questions will be on your next mastery. Straight up, guys. One of A, B, C, or D. E's a bit challenging, but A, B, C, or D, one of those is on your next mastery. And that doesn't mean memorize the answers. You're gonna have to show work, right?
I knew that. I forgot to look at that. Okay.
You can put F in parentheses, that's fine.
Yeah, I know. It's just
And what's it
I was
equal?
looking at my paper and not at that when it's right
You're
from my
good. You
face.
got
And
this.
all that
What's it all
equals
equal?
1,231. Big number.
1331. Questions. They've got Delaware in parentheses, Louisiana in parentheses, and then Florida.
Okay, good.
Good work. Keep rolling.
Okay, so we combine terms, and that will be 3F plus 296 equals 1,331.
Yes, your husband.
Any questions?
You got it.
Okay, good job. Great. Next we subtract 296 on both sides and we get which is going to be, that means 3F equals 1,035.
Now hold up just a second. If I'm going to nitpick, because you guys are being so awesome, this looks better if we keep the equal sign where it has been. So they're right, but it looks nicer if we try to line things up a little bit. We were already shifting to the left. Yeah, so it's tough to do it up here on the screen. But on your paper, I would keep those equal signs kind of lined up with each other.
Next we divide by 3 on both sides, so that will equal to equals to F equals to 3, 4.
So I love this because we can see everything. they had Delaware equals, they had Louisiana equals, they had Florida equals, all lined up for us across the screen. So guys, check this link. This is really nicely done. Delaware was 106 more than Florida. Louisiana was 190 more than Florida. And then Florida is just Florida. We put the like terms together. The only side that the variables are on is the left side. So we leave them there, get rid of the constants. Then we've got 3 of the variable. Don't want that. So we divide by 3. Questions for your amazing teachers? So then, once they know Florida, what's that S word when we plug it back in? Substitute.
Oh God. Delaware.
Okay. Go. Okay.
Here, I can do you a sweet favor that you can't do on your paper, but we can do up here.
Oh.
If we scooch all this down, then you can just do your substitution right there beneath them. So now, where they have F written, right, where they have F written, they're replacing with 345. And then I may have to cut it, and we know what F is. So I may have to cut us short. So we could use our calculator, add those up, get our answers. But I want to give an opportunity, because we only got like 4 minutes left. Did anyone, thank you guys so much. You seriously did great work. Did anyone do E that wants to start talking about it?
Just about done.
We did not get it done, though. Hold up. Let's do this together then, real quick. So if you started looking at it yesterday, you can help me out. Check it. You don't have this in front of you, but let's do some work together. The distance from D.C. to Pittsburgh is 30 miles less than twice the distance from Pittsburgh. Whoa. Big statement there. Distance from Cleveland to Chicago, 220 more. Who what?
Variable.
Yeah, we don't know yet. So, as I suggested to some people, I would draw a map. Now, if you don't know where these places are, it might be a little tough to draw a map. But if we draw a map here, I could call this section A, this section B, and this section C. Right? Some nice variables, A, B, C, are nice to use. So DC to Pittsburgh, that's actually section C. How I labeled it. So what I highlighted first, that's actually section C. So C is, what do they tell me? 30 miles less than. So I know I'm going to take 30 away from something. But away from what? Twice the distance from Pittsburgh to Cleveland. Well, Pittsburgh to Cleveland is section B, so we're going to call this 2B. It's 30 miles less than twice that section B. Cleveland to Chicago. Okay, so that's section A. So now they're telling me about section A. Cleveland to Chicago is 220 miles more than, so I know I'm going to add 220 to something. More than what? Well, Pitt to Cleveland. Oh yeah, Pitt to Cleveland, that was section B. What else do I need to make sure I write down and don't forget about? B. So B is equal to B. Now we could solve this. that's your challenge for if you're trying to make sure you're super comfortable with these. We'll look at the answer to this at the start of class tomorrow. You can solve this right now because the last thing they tell us, our total is 710 miles. The whole trip from Chicago to DC is 710 miles. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Amazing work to all of our teachers. Thank you very much. You're all amazing teachers. All right. You are. Well, I don't like to rank people, but you're pretty awesome. All right.
Nah, you're like.
I know. There's no numbers involved in here. Exactly, he says. Well, I mean, I know how I equal math. I chose that my freshman year of college and made it what I spent $100,000 turning my life into. But I don't know how to make that a mathematical proof, but I can think about it.
He said, oh.
He was like, that was not the answer I expected. But seriously, I went to college with no major and then determined it later.
Yeah. I kind of did that. Well, I chose like different majors, and then I finally was like, because I knew I wanted to help people, and I kept going. I wanted to. At first, I went for